This is New Haven Union Station, and about a half-mile northeast of here is New Haven State Street. State Street is signed and advertised as a commuter rail station with Amtrak corridor trains passing by on the regular. However, a select few Amtrak trains do actually stop here. Those same trains also stop at New Haven Union Station, which means we can buy a ticket between them, and that's exactly what we're gonna do. So hello and welcome to New Haven, the home of Amtrak's Shortest Ride. New Haven Union Station is a beautiful example of what mid-size railway stations should be. The main hall is a gorgeous piece of architectural history. With its high ceiling, massive arched windows, numerous globe lights, and marble furnishings, New Haven Union Station brings passengers back to the good old days of rail travel in the US. The hall includes plenty of seating, ticket machines, and service desks for Metro North, CT Rail, and Amtrak, plus numerous shops and restaurants for waiting passengers. Now, as far as I'm aware, CT Rail will allow you to make the State Street to Union Station journey for free on their trains. Because of the agreement between CT Rail and Amtrak, CT Rail tickets are also accepted on Amtrak trains, so technically you could ride this route for free. If you go through Amtrak, however, they will sell you a ticket between State Street and Union Station for $1 whole. Why it's not free, I have no idea, but that's just what it is. You can also get the fare even cheaper if you purchase a value ticket, which drops the price to 50 cents. On top of that, you can stack student or other discounts, which can result in fares as low as 47 cents. A ride on Amtrak's shortest journey really wouldn't be complete without paying the $1 fare, so I bought a ticket. I made sure to get a physical one from the ticket desk so I could have the receipt that says that I paid $1. With our travel documents now secured, we can head outside and up north towards State Street Station. 2 stations within walking distance? It's super weird, but there is a reason behind this interesting placement. Union Station may be much larger than State Street, but its location relative to New Haven's business district means that passengers often require onward travel accommodations, whether that be through public transit or through a cab. State Street was built to help solve this problem. Located just over a half-mile north of Union Station, State Street is directly next to New Haven's business district, giving commuting passengers significantly easier access to their final destinations. The station mainly serves both Amtrak and CT Rail's Hartford lines, the Shoreline East, and a select few Metro North and New Haven trains. The station also serves Springfield terminating Amtrak Northeast Regional trains, one of which will be our ride over to Union Station today. Finishing up the 15-minute walk between the stations, we get our first look at New Haven State Street. State Street is certainly not as flashy as Union Station. That being said, the cantilevered portion over the main station entrance is quite pretty. Out front, we find a few posted notes about onward connections and some other information. In between the 2 walkways to the platforms is a display with all coming departures. Our train Northeast Regional number 147 is set to depart from track 1 in about 6 minutes time, so we'll swiftly follow the signs across the walkway and down to track level. Inside, we find the first CT Rail ticket machine, plus a stairwell and elevator down to the tracks. Arriving on the lower level, we find ourselves on Track 1. Track 1 is the newest of the 3 platforms here at State Street. The station was first opened in 2002 with only the island platform we see out on Tracks 4 and 6. The station was then remodeled in 2018 with the addition of the side platform on Track 1. Looking up, we see the walkway over to Tracks 4 and 6. Because Platform 1 was built well after the original island platform, the walkways between the 2 are not directly connected. Instead, each has its own pedestrian bridge, which explains the 2 walkways we saw at the main entrance. The platforms are just what you'd expect from a northeastern commuter station. Each platform is open, but there are a few sheltered seats around and plenty of LED train displays. The inner portion of Track 1 also includes another CT Rail ticket machine. There's also a bit of history on African American workers on New Haven trains and a display on the past and present stations in New Haven. Despite their close proximity, we unfortunately cannot see our destination, as the tracks of the Northeast Corridor curve just far enough to obscure our line of sight. The clock hits our scheduled departure time of 9:54 a.m., but there's no train in sight. The all-aboard call is displayed on the screens around the station, but with no train to board, there's nothing we can do. A look at Amtrak's tracking map reveals that train 147 has been delayed by around 10 minutes, a wait 5 times longer than our total travel time today. As we wait for our train, let's take a quick look at our hilariously short route today. We'll start out leaving State Street and crossing under the Chapel Street Bridge, passing by the Union Street Dog Park. Fair Street is our next underpass, followed by Water Street and the 2 bridges of Oak Street Connector in quick succession. Our final approach into Union Station brings us past the beginnings of Metro North's New Haven Yard, but we're unable to see the full facility as our train quickly arrives at New Haven Union Station. We'll cover a total of 0.6 miles between State Street and Union Station, with a travel time of 2 minutes. A horn soon sounds from around the curve and our train comes into view. Of all of the journeys I've taken with Amtrak, of course this is the one that's led by Amtrak's Midnight Blue P42 DC number 100. Somehow it's very fitting that I would get a special locomotive for a special ride. Our train comes to a stop and we can head down to the cafe car to board. Stepping on board, we can head forward to find an empty row for our quick ride down south. We don't even make it all the way to the front of the train before the doors close and we depart for this 2-minute ride to New Haven. We find an empty row in the frontmost car of the train and we can begin the fastest seat review I've ever done. Ready? Here we go. Our coach today is an Amfleet 1, which is set up in the usual 2x2 seating arrangement. These seats usually provide ample room between my knees and the seat back, but sitting with my backpack on has reduced this by around 3 inches. There's still plenty of space beneath the next seat to stretch out, although there's no footrest included in these standard coach seats, plus the seat back pocket is decently large. Each seat includes a tray table which folds down from the seat back, which can translate back and forth for easier access. Above each row are 2 lights plus 2 outlets on the wall just below the window. And that's it. Just as soon as we sat down, our train pulls into New Haven Union Station, our $1 destination. Coming to a stop, we can head towards the rear of the car and back out into New Haven. Now, there's a slight technicality about the length of this ride when heading south on a select few trains. Because we're traveling on a Northeast Regional, the train has to change from diesel to electric for passage on the Northeast Corridor. This in turn means that even though our scheduled ride time is only 2 minutes, the time between departure from State Street to the departure from Union Station is actually 20 minutes. So if you really wanted to go check out the cafe car, then you've got a few more minutes than is indicated on your ticket. Of course, I couldn't miss a power change, so I hopped off as soon as I could. Plus, there's no fun in breaking the real timing of the ride. Walking to the front of the platform, the crew was already hard at work disconnecting our P42 DC. After all lines are disconnected, our locomotive powers up and pulls away from the coaches of train 147. The rear of Locomotive 100 is caked in snow, a sign of things to come on our next train out of New Haven. With the all-clear, Midnight Blue number 100 pulls onto the side track. Diesel now disconnected, ACS 64 number 648 pulls up to the consist, coupling on with a heavy thunk. As the crew works to connect the ACS-64, Midnight Blue number 100 reverses past the platforms. The locomotive is on its way to head around the turning loop in preparation for its journey on the northbound Vermonter later that day. As we wait, a Metro North New Haven line train heads out, one of 8 routes that operate out of Union Station. The locomotive swap has been narrowed down to a science, and ACS-64 number 648 powers up, hauling train 147 out of New Haven and on towards Roanoke, Virginia. This train is actually one of only a select few that will see 2 motive power swaps throughout its journey. Beginning in Springfield, Massachusetts, train 147 starts out under diesel power, swapping to electric in New Haven like we saw today. Train 147 then heads down the corridor to Washington, D.C. With a final destination in Central Virginia, the electric ACS-64 must be swapped back out for a diesel locomotive, which will take it on to its final destination of Roanoke. And as train 147 leaves Union Station, we can make our way towards the exits to bring Amtrak's shortest ride to a close. This journey was an interesting one for sure, and it's one of many strange routes out there. If you want to see more weird routes like this one in the future, then let me know in the comments below. If you're new around here, then why not hit that subscribe button? It's totally free and it really helps support the channel. And hit that bell icon while you're down there to be notified whenever a new video goes live. As always, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to my patrons and channel members. Making videos takes a huge effort and I wouldn't be able to do it without your support. If you too want your name in the video or just want to support the channel in more ways than one, then head on over to the links in the description below. But anyways, that's all I have for today. Thanks for riding with me, and I'll see you in the next one.